Kia ora whānau, hope everyone is doing well. I'm doing pretty bloody fantastic if I do say so myself. Now, today, got a very different video as opposed to what I was planning to do. However, I felt like I had to talk about this one because I'm still feeling the excitement from it all. Now, as some of you are aware, or if you're not, this past weekend, EVO Japan has just wrapped up, and there were so many awesome things about it that I just had to make a video on it. So, I'm going to be compiling a lot of my thoughts, opinions, my favorite moments, and what I'm looking forward to the most. I won't be covering everything, because if I did, this video would be way too freaking long. So I'm going to try and keep this brief and straight to the point. Not like this intro, obviously. But anyway, let's get straight into it. Oh, but before I do, bit of a disclaimer. I'm not going to be talking about the whole situation where Twitch had been banning EVO Japan's channel in the middle of some sets. Ernesto already covered that on Button Check, so check out his channel for more details on that. I'm just going to keep this to the stuff that I was the most excited about and what I'm looking forward to going forward. And going forward, this boomer was just so happy to see Street Fighter 3rd Strike on a main stage at a massive fighting game tournament. Now, I know this is EVO Japan and Street Fighter is popular in Japan, but we've still got EVO in Las Vegas to look forward to for even more 3rd Strike action. And the 3rd Strike action we got at this EVO was very cool to see. Now, the grand finals was a Yun mirror match, but hey, those loops and everything they were doing in the grand final, those are very freaking tight and difficult to do. And seeing both of these competitive players land those moves consistently, it just felt so good seeing all that on the main stage. And there's gonna be even more of it in the future. So yep, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Seeing 3rd Strike again, beautiful. And keeping it within the realm of Street Fighter, the grand finals for Street Fighter 6 was one hell of a fun watch. Of all the characters I expected to take home the gold, Blanca was not at the top of that list. But in the grand finals, we had a very awesome match between JP and Blanca. And what a frickin' game this was. Maynard constantly being oppressive with the Blanca level 2 and going in with those throw loops and baiting JP's counter. Jeez. Man, you would never see me pull any of that crap off. That was just way too frickin' awesome. So yep, Street Fighter 6 Grand Finals. I can't show it all here, but trust me, you'll want to go on YouTube and check it out for yourself. In fact, there were so many grand finals that had a lot of characters that I was very happy to see. I mean, hell, even with Under Night in Birth 2, Wildstein was also at the top of the list for the characters that appeared in the finals. It's just like, yeah, my boy, he was in there, representing. Beautiful. And then we got Guilty Gear Strive's grand finals. Man, now, I already knew that we weren't gonna see many Johnnies or Abbas due to the fact that they are still relatively new characters, but man, the grand final we got against Happy Chaos, and of course, the chief of I Am the Best, Leo Whitefang. Seriously, this was one hell of a fun match, and I never get tired of seeing Leo's loops and using Brimhilda's stance. This was an extremely fun match to watch because these are two polar opposite characters. Happy Chaos locking down the opponent with the gun loops, and of course you've got Leo just darting around everywhere with his back turn stance and using his invincible reversal. This was such an awesome tournament to watch, and I'm just happy to see that there's more Guilty Gear Strive stuff coming along. More on that later. And I'm so happy about this next one, and you probably already know why. Look at the screen. Look at all them geese on the screen. There was so much goose in this tournament. I just, That's immediately close to number one for me. I'll say close because there was one that was just a little bit better. But man, all of the Geese Howards and Isla in this tournament, this again was an extremely fun watch, especially for a Geese Howard fan like myself. And I was actually quite surprised that there was no Shunei in this tournament. Or at least there was no Shunei in the grand finals. But then again, Shunei's a fugly design, so I'm glad he wasn't in the grand final. Instead, we got Geese Howard and Isla. And the way Isla took the entire thing with the point to the sky at the end, that was just far too perfect. Now, sadly, we got no announcements for King of Fighters 15, but I'll get to that when we get to that. Now, for the big one that I was the most excited about, and I'm pretty sure you all saw this coming, Tekken 8. Now, the top 6 for this tournament, as to be expected, there was not a single Victor, Azuzena, or Reina. That did not surprise me in the slightest, because while they were in the preliminaries and the bottom pools, they were not in the top, simply due to the fact that while they are strong characters, they are what is commonly referred to as scrub killer characters. And what I mean by that is, they're pretty viable at the start, but deeper into competitive play, not so much. That's why in this tournament, you saw a bit of Dragunov, there was some Aliza, some Zafina, even some frickin' Nina. Martial Law was up there, which was frickin' awesome, but also surprising because you saw him but not Paul. There were 2 Eddie Gordo players, which was awesome because it's frickin' Eddie Gordo. And by far the biggest upset is the one and only Chikarin claiming the championship with Lily. Using a pad. Not a fight stick, a pad. With Lily. Let that sink in for a bit. So cool. Sorry about that, had to cut off my recording to get some kai kai. I had noodles. It was delightful. Okay, now let's get straight into the announcements, starting off with Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. So, nothing for King of Fighters 15, I'm pretty sure that game is kaput now, because SNK is putting all of their focus into this new Fatal Fury game, and judging by this Marco Rodriguez trailer, yeah, this game is gonna cook, and it is gonna be delicious. And someone correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure Marco's English voice actor is the same as Leroy Smith in Tekken. And just the fact that we are getting a new Fatal Fury, and this is the main SNK game getting an English dub ever since the frickin' Maximum Impact games, that is pretty friggin' sweet. And Marco also looks really awesome. Out of the characters Ryo, Yuri, and Mr. Karate, I've always preferred how Marco Rodriguez uses the fighting style. And I also love how for both the Eastern and Western version, his name is gonna be Marco Rodriguez, and not that name which I can't pronounce with a last name that is a very ass name, no pun intended. Okay, now let's drop right into the next announcement I was excited for, and that's the return of Slayer in Guilty Gear Strive. Everyone was asking for this character ever since they first saw Guilty Gear, and now that he is back as the final character for Season 3 of Strive, yeah, safe to say the entire Guilty Gear community is happy. Minus the ones that wanted to see Dizzy. But yep, Slayer is back and he is freaking killing it with his design. It's very true to tradition, and it's not that much different from his original design back in Exerd and Exerd Rev 2. But man, Slayer is looking freaking clean with his animations, and of course it is pretty cool to see a vampire like him in the same game as Nago Ryuki, who is also a frickin' awesome vampire. Now, the two main things that stood out the most to me in this reveal is the moment where you normally get the counter hit graphic in the background. When Slayer does it, he instead gets Universe. I don't know if that's gonna be a new mechanic, or if that's just the game's way of saying that he is a frickin' strong fighter. But secondly, during his super, where he has what looks like a raging demon into the vampire bite, he then quickly transforms into his younger self, kind of like the Guilty Gear version of Zeku from Street Fighter V. I'm not so sure what that's about. Maybe that only happens during the super for some extra flash, where he briefly turns into his younger self to give it his all, like go 100%. But we'll know when we know, which will actually be pretty damn soon. I'm looking forward to playing him. And now, we move on to the next announcement for Street Fighter VI. Everyone's been looking forward to this one. Frickin' Akuma, the final Season 1 character for Street Fighter VI. So, where do we begin? Well, to start, we have confirmation that Akuma will also bring a major balance update to Street Fighter VI. Now, there have been character adjustments and certain properties that have been changed with previous updates, but this one is gonna see the most changes. As it was specifically stated, this would bring a major update. So I'm very excited to see what that's gonna bring, and given the fact Akuma is gonna be in the game, one of the nuttiest, most overpowered characters in this franchise's history, yeah, chances are the update will definitely be needed. And speaking of changes, jeez Louise, Akuma's frickin' design. A lot of people were confused and scratching their heads saying, how the hell is this fella only 189 pounds? And well, look at his frickin' body. It's literally just muscle fibers. This dude is negative 0% body fat. Frickin' Yujiro Hanma over here. So Akuma of course brings the classic normals and specials that we're all familiar with. If you know, you know. And he's also got a few unique special moves, including what looks like a command grab out of his frickin' demon dash. And his level 3, it is such a brutal looking level 3. Almost like they turned his island punch into a frickin' command grab. And man, Akuma just looks frickin' terrifying. And what's even more interesting about this is that when you compare what he's doing in this trailer to what he does in Street Fighter V, very true to most of this game's design, a lot of what he has seems to be an evolution of his Street Fighter V counterpart, and with some of his aerial specials, like, he was doing quite a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom shit in this trailer. Really friggin' cool. And that frickin' raging demon. We all thought that the best one was Street Fighter V, but I don't know how Capcom topped it, but they sure as hell did. And now, for the big one that I was the most excited about, Tekken 8. So, for starters, Lydia Sobieska. She is the second character for Season 1. Really awesome. I'm glad to see that she's come back because she was received very well at the tail end of Tekken 7's lifespan, and given that Tekken 7 was a glorified testing ground for Tekken's future, glad to see that she's returned, and I can already tell that she is going to be a lot of fun in this game. I'm excited to see what her heat mechanics are going to be, but I'm even more excited about the free updates we are getting. That is a beautiful word. F-R-E-E. So, as you all know, I make all of my videos and my thumbnails using the PlayStation 5 Share Factory. So the fact that Tekken 8 is going to be getting a photo mode very similar to both Street Fighter and the Dead or Alive series, this is gonna make putting thumbnails together so much easier for me. I can already predict that I'm going to do a lot of stupid shit with this one. And of course you've got the balance update, where a lot of things are going to get adjusted, characters' move properties are going to change, and there's also going to be several new moves that will be given to characters as well, very similar to what happened in Tekken 7. And speaking of similarities, many people have been making the comparison to the Dead or Alive series for the fact this update is going to be including a beach stage as well as a photo mode. Now, as someone who loves Dead or Alive, you're definitely not going to get any complaints from me. And also, the seaside resort stage that we are going to be getting in this game, it's the exact same stage from Tekken Ball mode. And I did want this stage to be playable, you know, to actually have a match on. And the only way you could is if you modded the game on PC. But I'm happy to see that's going to be in the game as a stage you get for free. Not one you purchase, it's gonna be there for free. I love that, especially since I love the look of the stage when you're playing Tekken Ball mode. And what really surprised me is that this free update also includes a story expansion. Now, we already knew that DLC characters later down the line would get their own character episode, but what I did not expect is that we would be getting new chapters to the main story mode for free. This is pretty fucking awesome. So yeah, out of all of the updates, Tekken 8 is the one I'm looking forward to the most. And can you blame me? This game is doing so freaking well. The tournament at EVO just showed off the best of the best, and we've got EVO in Las Vegas to look forward to for even more good-ass Tekken. Man, we fighting game connoisseurs sure are eating good. Delicious. Well, okay, I'm getting a little bit carried away here. I'm gonna end the video right there. I would like to talk more about things like the lack of Virtua Fighter news, but yeah, we'll get to that somewhere down the line in the future. So I'm hoping that we're gonna see some Virtua Fighter at some point. There have been some rumors and some hints here and there from multiple sources, and Sega just teasing everyone. But yeah. Oh, and for those of you wondering where's the Mortal Kombat news, this is EVO Japan we're talking about, and Mortal Kombat 1 wasn't there. But for anyone who's curious, yeah, I'm a little not as excited for Homelander. Although I am curious to know what he sounds like. There you go. There's your Mortal Kombat news. Okay, thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time, whānau. Ka kite.